Abbiamo il piacere di introdurre il professore Lorenzo Cantoni, professore all'USI, che ci parlerà di un tema molto interessante: What changes between presenting online and in presence. A lei la parola. Grazie.
Bene, grazie mille per la presentazione. Come giustamente diceva Giada, la mia preoccupazione effettivamente sono comodissimo sui tacchi e anche la pettinatura è abbastanza a posto, magari la metto un attimo a posto. Ok, so thank you for introducing me. So what does it change? So many things. So first of all, I would never ever present anything to you staying here, standing. So in presence, I believe, I feel like I'm a dictator, I'm telling you what to do. Okay, so this situation is due to the two nice gentlemen over there who told me you need to stay under the light, so it's kind of enlightening, la illuminazione, and so I cannot move. But the gentleman over there, the director, or the most powerful gentleman in the direction, allowed me to sit down. So I will stay like this. So kind of I feel much more comfortable speaking with you, and hopefully also those who are attending online can see my face. If not, as you can confirm, is not a big damage. Okay, so let's think of several changes. Why is this important? So one example is what's happening right now here in this room. Another example is, think of what Marshall McLuhan, those of you whose background is in communication might remember him. He was suggesting through a very strange phrase, the medium is the message. Okay, so what is the message which is deeply embedded in a channel we are using to get meanings across? So think of television, for instance. Think of the way cinema and television. So if you think of Netflix, for instance, movies, you are likely to find very few people in the same image than the number of people you can show on a big screen. Okay, so if you think of the dimensions of the screen, if you are shooting something having in mind the people watching it through their smartphones, you need to reconstruct the image in a way that it works also on a small screen. But think of soap operas, for instance. So if you are watching something on a big screen, like in a cinema, like we are, so I'm not the best movie tonight, but yeah, quello che passa al convento. So if you think of watching a movie, the director could convey important messages through long silences. Think of people watching each other, and just through silence and people moving somehow, you might convey even the most important message in the movie. But if you think of a soap opera, soap operas are likely to be accessed or watched, if you like, from home in a TV screen, by people who are likely to do many other things at the same time. So for instance, I'm watching a soap opera while ironing. And so if I'm ironing or if I'm cooking, I'm likely to lose eye contact from the screen, from the TV. And so soap operas redesigned themselves in a way that they could work kind of as radio transmission. So basically, you should make sure to convey the most important messages through the audio channel, because the audio channel is not going to be lost, while the video connection might be lost many times during the presentation, the screening of the soap opera. So think of the advertising campaigns. So up to a certain point, the idea was that you were sitting at home watching a movie in a similar fashion like sitting in a cinema watching on a big screen. That meant that you could have some minutes of advertising campaigns in between portions of screening the movie or whichever program they were presenting. But nowadays, having the possibility of stopping, going back, going forward, recording the program and then watching afterwards, of course, you can skip very easily the advertising campaigns. And so you need, like, for instance, during important football matches or other sport events, you need to embed the campaign in the video itself, because otherwise people will skip it and not having access to it. Okay, so as you can see, depending on different scenarios, you need to slightly change or deeply change your present. Okay, so let's go to the topic. Giovanni Pellegari was, and I guess all the others, were stressing one of the most important messages and ideas in communication. So communication is not speaking. Speaking or expressing yourself is just a part of it. But that's not yet communication. It's an expression looking for someone understanding it. And only if your expression got listened to and somehow understood, I'm not saying fully understood, but somehow understood, you can call it an act of communication. So it's not there is communication then understanding. No, communication is expression plus understanding. And so every time you design your communication, like you are doing for those fantastic videos, I mean, Giovanni, we were commenting, this is a super luxury training, so I'm pretty sure you will produce the best ever videos about science. You should always think, okay, how is my expression, how likely it is to find someone listening and understanding, watching and understanding. I put there the name of Mr. Agostino di Ippona, Augustine from Hippo, who was one of the most important semioticians of ancient times. And in a work titled De Doctrina Christiana, he says, how can you judge a good quality communication? And the answer was very clear. You should not ask the speaker, you should ask the listeners. So a good quality communication happens only if the listeners do understand it. Otherwise, you might be the best, scholar, researcher, or whoever you like to be, but if communication doesn't happen, so if your addressees do not understand your message, the communication itself has been a failure, maybe an epic failure, or a small one. Okay, so let's take the addressee's viewpoint. This is not moving. I thought I have 30 minutes, but the timer is not moving. But anyway, Elena, you will tell me, okay, when I have to stop. Okay, so the addressee's viewpoint. So as you know, in many instances, we are referring to the current economy as an attention economy. So basically, all of us have a limited number of hours, days, minutes, seconds, and many providers, information providers or other types of agencies, are trying to attract our attention. Okay, and so for them and for us, if we are in this business, our goal is really to attract their attention. And we know that nowadays this is a very limited currency. Okay, so what you are going to do is really to produce something which is so relevant that people will invest their most important currency, which is time and attention, so quality time. So first of all, the topic will be focus. So how many seconds will they listen? So that's very important. So you are kind of entrapped here. Of course, I mean, you can pretend you go to the restroom and you leave the room when you are tired. But within the scenario, you are likely to stay until the end. And I planned my presentation assuming that you will hopefully stay for a few more minutes listening to me, and not because I'm speaking, I'm sure, but because you are hoping that the next presenter will come soon and you will learn much more. But anyway, this is my planning. If you produce a video for the web or for, another type of distribution, you don't know. And what we know from digital analytics is that in many cases, they will stay just a few seconds. They might even not land on your video from the very beginning. They might land at half of your video. They might move just scrolling and looking for something which might be more interesting. But definitely, you should be aware of the fact that not all of them, and in fact, just a small percentage of people accessing a video online will watch it from the beginning till the end without any further skipping or fast-forwarding decision, or just leaving decision. And so it's very important, assuming that they might access your video from the beginning, that you put your most important messages up front. Okay, so don't think it like a cliffhanger. You create a suspense, and in the end you reveal who's the killer, because for 90% of them, they won't know who's the killer. Okay, so start saying the killer is Pellegrini, and then you explain the story about Cappuccetto Rosso and the wolf. And why did, oh yeah, he saved Cappuccetto Rosso while killing Il Lupo. Okay, so this is very important. So start from what's really relevant, like many others has stressed. Make sure you have a message, and if you have a message, tell it straight away, and then explain it through different strategies. Here, you happen to be here because you decided to participate in this training. So that's very clear. So your focus is, okay, I will spend that afternoon in the Sala A del Palazzo dei Congressi in Lugano in order to be trained or to reflect, to prepare for this goal. Many of the people who are likely to access the videos you are going to produce might have very different frames. So this is an issue of framing. Some of them will watch it because, look at her, she's a friend of mine. Okay, we have studied together. She is a student in my university, in my program. Or è mia nipote. Okay, so it's my nephew. Or they might have, or they were looking for the topic of your presentation. Let's assume digital fashion communication, international tourism, whatever, informatics, and they happened to watch you. They were not looking for you. Okay, so you should reflect on different scenarios and different ways or routes through which people might end up watching a few seconds of your video. So that was already said. So this is the focus. There will be so many distractions. Okay, so that's very relevant. On a screen, on a computer screen, on a small screen like a smartphone, you are not alone. So of course you might hope to be the only one on the screen, but I believe you have quite an extensive experience in it. People might watch the video while texting something on WhatsApp, or reading an email, Googling something at the same time, or doing many other things at the same time. So it's very important that you understand that it's not like here. Of course, you might now think of what you are going to cook for the dinner tonight, but I might guess that a few of you, or some of you, or many of you are thinking of what I'm saying right now. But watching a video is much less the case. So think that the framework is they will use some seconds of your video in a context in which they are likely to do a few other things, if not many other things. And so you might guide that distraction. For instance, you might suggest or provide a link to the presentation of your work, or you might provide some instructions on how to do an experiment, or depending on what you are presenting, you might try to suggest or recommend activities to do while watching your video. Okay? Don't think you are like a primary school teacher, put your hands on the desk and watch me and listen to me. Okay? This is not likely to happen. They might do a lot of interactions. So it's not only watching, doing something else, but they might try to interact with you and the content. And so depending on the different platforms, every different platform might provide different technical affordances, like voting. For instance, YouTube gives you the possibility of thumb up or thumb down, while on Facebook you can just say I like it, but you cannot say I dislike it. In other cases, you might add comments, you might do other activities with the video. So when publishing the video, you should carefully consider, should I leave the possibility of adding comments or not, or comments, should they be reviewed before going public or not, or am I adding the possibility of watching how many people have watched the video. So this is usually a big problem. I'm pretty sure not in your case, but there are several institutions which are very proud of their videos, and they publish them on YouTube, and then you go on YouTube and you see that 3 years later, the maximum number of people watching a video was 25. And you're saying, maybe you are very proud, but of what? And you know that 25 means that 25 people have watched at least a couple of seconds of it. But definitely, you are pretty sure that not all of them have watched the video. Could be 25, it could be 220, but in some cases, it's better not to show the number of views. It might be up to you, it might be up to the channel managers in case they are published on a university platform, on a university channel on YouTube or elsewhere. But this is something you should carefully consider. Sometimes it's showing that there's a problem more than that it has been a great success. In other cases, it might be different. For instance, we had very nice examples and experiences with MOOCs, Massive Open Online Courses, and in some cases showing how many people have accessed it is really a strength, but sometimes might be not the best way. And then you need to look for your addressees. So online, you need to be really proactive in terms of promoting your message. And so it's very important that you carefully plan the promotion of your videos. This will be done definitely from the 3 institutions. There are, super professional people doing so, but you might also yourself plan how to promote your videos. So just a couple of minutes about the sender's viewpoint, which has been already tackled and will be tackled also by several other presentations. So you will have time to prepare. This is part of the preparation. And when you record a video, so you are not interacting with other people, the amount of contents you can present per unit of time is much bigger. And that's very important to be understood. So slow down and make sure you don't rush. We have seen, for instance, while moving from in-presence teaching at USI to online teaching, professors replicating their class of 45 minutes with a video of 45 minutes, they ended up presenting twice as much content. Why? Because if you're in interaction, of course, you will stop, you will react to people. Some of your, a part of your stream of thoughts or consciousness or attention will be focused on the small signals you get from the public. While going online, you are speaking to a camera. I believe the green is recording. Hi. It was okay. So the red. Sorry. So in that sense, it's very important that you understand not to overdo. Okay, avoid overdoing. Post-production. So of course you can do it more than once. I don't know how the shooting has been planned, but it could be buona la prima, but maybe even the second or the third try might be even better. So you will have more time to do and redo it, which is not possible like in this case. I'm not going to redo it, trying to do it better. Anyway, I will stop in a few minutes. It can be edited, and you can add subtitles. And the editing part, for instance, you might decide to remove the face and to add something. So you get the voiceover, but you remove the face, and you can add elements, materials, raw materials, which might be more conducive to a better understanding of the topic, more than your face. I put something, this is just my best guess today of near production. So also the decision about the channel where you are going to publish might be very relevant. Of course, you might decide to publish on TikTok, for instance, and definitely on that platform, the style and the attention is likely to be different if you publish on YouTube, on Facebook, on a MOOC. For instance, in MOOCs, we even arrive at 12 minutes. So we get people watching 12 minutes, the same video without stopping. And you need definitely to, so what, I call it near production, so what you produce to be put nearby the video, okay? So you can decide about the channel. It's very important to describe the video in the best way. For search engine optimization, for instance, so people not looking for you, but looking for the topic of your presentation might end up watching your video if and only if you provided a very good quality description of it. Meta tags are very important. In science, you should address specific communities. For public presentation is more about understanding the major trends in that moment. I mentioned search engine optimization, search engine marketing, and I've already mentioned also promotional activities. And that's it. It says 44 seconds, so Pune. Thank you for your attention.